Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Nathan Drinkard. I'm Jay Wise. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. You know where to find us. You can find us on the Anchor app. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and several other podcasting platforms. And we're live at the A Drink of Wisdom YouTube channel. You can check us out in the video format there. Drink, as always, great to be with you.
Hey man, I can't complain. Glad to be back up in this thing with my brother from another mother. Jay, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
All right. Well, with that said, another day, another dollar. We got to give the streets what they need. We see what they don't, say what they want, and set the plates because it's time to eat. And last but not least, let's talk some sports, baby. Let's roll, Jay.
All right, episode 71, NBA win projections are out. LeBron feels disrespected, and we've got some vaccine decrees to break down from the West Coast. We're going to start in college football, where the ACC, B10, Pac12 alliance, well, that momentum appears to be accelerating. We got multiple reports saying that an announcement of some sort should come out within the next week to week and a half. As you know, this is kind of in response to the SEC's expansion efforts. We know they've made moves to acquire the services of Texas and Oklahoma, and this is kind of the counter move of the other conferences who don't want to get left behind, so to speak. Drink, what's your reaction to the latest developments in this developing story?
Well, listen, two reactions right off the top. Reaction number one, this thing is moving faster than we thought it was going to move. I know a lot of people's looking at 2025 for us to really get some resolve to this, but hey, at this rate, 2023, we're going to have some resolve to this. I like it though. I think this is evidence moving towards what we talked about college football becoming more of a platform for the NFL, more of a form system for the NFL, and I like what's going on here as we start incorporating NIL and the other things that's coming with college football. Now we're doing a full scale realignment. So my first takeaway is they're moving. This lets me know that this didn't just happen overnight. Like ADs, presidents, others, like they've been talking about this alliance or this realignment for a while. And I think honestly under the BCS and then on to the college football playoff format and on to just like, if it's not broken, no need to fix it type of mentality. I think the NCAA and college football as a whole just kind of just kept it going the way it was, because they didn't see a reason to change it. But evidently, like we say, with the NIL coming through, and now with COVID and came through and it accelerated a lot of decision processes. Here we are. I truly think we're starting to develop more of an NFC, AFC type of mix here. So, listen, college football is going to look a lot different in the next 3 to 4 years as we see it now. And my second takeaway was, hey, let's go ahead and cancel the Big 12. Hey, Oklahoma State, I'm fairly confident what the SEC going to do. Probably try to take on Oklahoma State and then find another suitable team to round that out. And Oklahoma State will probably be part of the SEC. And then the rest of the Big 12, yeah, about that. Yeah, you're going to have to get in where you fit in. In the words of Shannon Sharp, do something before do something. Y'all going to have to figure it out. Y'all going to kind of be out there floundering around trying to figure it out. And listen, I mean, it might be some spots in the old ACC, Big 10, Big 12 alliance. They might not fill all these spots. I would assume that the SEC only going to take 2 more teams after Texas and Oklahoma as of now until we figure out what we want to do on a larger scale. But yeah, man, like the big the Big 10 is done. You might as well call the AAC a Power 5 conference by the time we get done with this, because I think it's more teams from that conference that's wanted than the teams from the Big 12 conference. I'm just being honest. With all that said, this is a lot going on, folks. I am curious to see how much of this affects this season it shouldn't affect this season. But when you got news this big on the horizon, you have to think to yourself, it's going to be brought up multiple times throughout the season, especially when we get to this, when the playoff rankings come around that third week of October and they get into the mix, and we get to talking about this, that, in the future. This alliance will be brought up. Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC will be brought up. The rest of the Big Ten will be brought up. So I am definitely curious to see what happened with the rest of the college football landscape, according to this, and how it impacts this season. But like I say, yeah, my two biggest takeaways was, folks, this alliance is real. This will be one side of the bracket in college football when it's all said and done. And my second takeaway was the Big 12. The Big 12, you're out of here, folks. Oklahoma State and somebody else will probably get in one of the conferences, but the rest of those teams, yeah, we're gonna holler at you into basketball season.
I think the Big 12 aspect of it is one of the things that jumps out immediately, because they're definitely in a sort of a no man's land right now. And I think if I'm the SEC, this kind of has a financial feel to it when a company on the downslide or whatever, the CEO is like kind of cutting his losses, said, oh, I'm selling this and I'm gonna sell it to some bigger company and you can just merge it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. Right. And if I'm the Big 12, I would just, not that the SEC maybe is interested in this, but I think for the good of the sport, if you have these three conferences coming together for whatever this may look like, I think the SEC they should just go ahead and annex the entire Big 12. Not to say that they would want all of these teams. I don't know how much interest they have in the Texas Techs of the world, and definitely the Kansases from a football standpoint. But I'd go ahead and take them all, and then I don't know, Vanderbilt might be happy to meet Kansas one of these days. They might win a game, so you have that. But the bigger thing here is, I think we this announcement and this formal language that is supposed to be crafted. I from what I've read, I don't think these three conferences have much of a clue of what the specifics of this are. I think they have a general idea. The general framework is the SEC's doing all this. We want to come together and counteract this, right. in a first order rebellion type Star Wars themed thing that I mentioned in the last show.
Do you think they're moving too fast?
Are you talking about the ACC, Big 10, and Pac12? Mm-hmm. No, I don't think they're moving too fast at all. Like you say, I think this was something that almost as soon as the Texas Oklahoma news broke, I think this is something that these three conferences started talking about pretty much immediately, and that's why now we're here. They put committees together to look at this, but I'm still wondering about specifics, because it would appear to me that what they want to stay away from is a complete merger, to where you don't have three separate conferences. I think they still want to be separate. They just want to come together, and but they still want to be separate, if you get what I'm saying. What I'm interested in is what all can you do if you don't completely merge? One of the things I'm looking at is, how does non-conference scheduling look in the future? For example, I know you got a big one early on with like Clemson and Georgia. If you have this alliance, what does it look like next year? Like, are they going to attempt to just freeze the SEC schools out and just play each other in the non-conference? That's a question I have. I don't think that, and if they elect to do that, I think it could benefit these three conferences, because I think they need, especially the ACC and Pac-12, they need to go play a stiffer non-conference competition. It won't hurt the SEC all that much. They can go flop around with the remaining Big 12 schools, or they can just get Cincinnati on the phone. They'll be fine. Right. But that's just one example. Like, the big thing is, like, what are the specifics of it? What does it look like when you say alliance? Because that could mean a wide variety of things. And I think it's a looser thing than just, hey, we're going to come together and just be one thing, because they got three commissioners. I don't think those three commissioners are looking at each other and saying, hey, let's just all come together and which one of us is going to be in control of this? I don't think they want to give that control up.
No, and I agree with you on that. Now I'm hoping the meeting of the minds that change, because this is not gonna work unless you have one boss. Like, listen, what if they use that philosophy that you just said, try to keep three commissioners? That's boxing. If you use the philosophy that the SEC doing, one commissioner, we just get all the good teams, that's UFC. That's the march difference between how the MMA community is ran and how boxing is ran. So I'm hoping, just to run a parallel for other people, I'm hoping that this alliance, I got it. It's gonna take a little while to figure out, but I'm hoping that's not the program they're gonna try to run. Three commissioners in one, conference per se. Just don't make a lot of sense. Like, like I said, um, it just don't make sense to have, like, it's just like boxing. You got Top Rank, you got PBC, you got all these different chiefs that's in the kitchen, but you ain't got nobody following. So I hope they don't do that. I hope eventually they come as one entity.
With and the only reason I'm looking at it from my point of view right now is because they're using the word we keep hearing is alliance. Mm-hmm. If they said merger, then it would like, okay, they're gonna all come together, rename the thing, everybody's gonna be in a conference. But I don't think that's what, at least right now, that's what we're looking at. Unless, part of the ongoing discussions is there are some that want to do that. They want to do a complete merger because they see the SEC is becoming so strong and so top heavy that they feel they need to do that. But as of right now, I don't see it. But I do agree. I think if you have a loose type alliance, like, the biggest thing is we just need more specifics, and we will bring those specifics to you when we have more information.